Welcome back to the world history where time breathes, battles roar, and civilizations carve their legacy in stone. Today we step into a world of dust, sweat, and unyielding ambition. The birth of one of humanity's greatest monuments. The Great Wall of China. It began not with grand towers or stone battlements, but with calloused hands and primitive tools. Under the blazing sun and biting winds, thousands of laborers, peasants, prisoners, and soldiers alike chiseled, stacked, and hauled stone through unforgiving terrain. The air was thick with dust, and the clang of hammers echoed across the hills. This was more than construction, it was survival. As chaos erupted beyond the horizon, a greater threat loomed: the Mongol hordes. From the north, waves of horsemen stormed toward the heart of China, swift and merciless. With sections of the wall still under frantic construction, defenders scrambled to repel the onslaught. Spears clashed, arrows soared, and the partially built wall became a battlefield. Blood mingled with mortar, and history was forged in the heat of war. High above, perched on a mist-wrapped mountain, stood a solitary watchtower. Its silent gaze stretched over valleys and cliffs, where early morning frosts clung to ancient stone. A lone sentry kept vigil as snow crowned the distant peaks, a haunting reminder that danger could rise with the sun. As years passed, the wall snaked further, mile after mile, over green hills and steep ridges, its vast presence challenging even the clouds. A panoramic view reveals a dragon of stone undulating through wilderness, defying nature itself. Storm clouds gathered above it, but the wall stood immovable, a barrier not just of stone, but of will. At the heart of this ambition was Emperor Qin Huang, the first to envision a unified shield across his empire. Cloaked in silk, surrounded by royal guards, he stood before the roaring labor force. To him, the wall was destiny, his answer to an eternal threat. What he ordered was not merely a wall, but a boundary between civilization and chaos. The work was relentless. Caravans of donkeys, backs burdened with heavy bricks, trudged up treacherous mountain paths. Workers followed, faces etched with exhaustion. Some fell and were buried where they dropped, their bones part of the very wall they built. From the heavens, the view is humbling. The wall threads through forests, deserts, rivers, and cliffs like an eternal scar etched deep into the earth. And within its crevices lived stories untold, of hope, of fear, of fierce loyalty. At one lonely outpost, a Ming dynasty soldier stood watch, eyes hardened by years of silence. His armor gleamed faintly beneath the setting sun, a sentinel guarding a forgotten war. As night fell, torches lit the ramparts. Shadows flickered and footfalls echoed. Soldiers patrolled through darkness, driven by duty. Beneath the surface of these stones lies brilliance, a fusion of packed earth, stone, and wood, layered with techniques mastered through centuries. A 3D cross-section reveals more than structure, it reveals ingenuity, sacrifice, and the eternal flame of a people who dared to build the impossible. And this was only the beginning. The Great Wall was never just a wall, it was a battleground, a beacon, and a heartbeat of an empire. As centuries passed, the stones bore witness to fury and fire, to lives lived and lost. Its towering ramparts once echoed with the clash of steel and the roar of war. Under a darkened sky, an inferno erupted. Fire arrows lit the heavens, raining down on enemies scaling the wall. Screams pierced the wind as defenders fought tooth and nail to repel the invaders. The Mongols came not just with swords, but with fury, their warriors clawing their way up ladders, only to be met by boiling oil, arrows, and sheer defiance. Every stone of the wall absorbed the terror and triumph of these brutal encounters, but behind every stone was a mind. Deep within royal halls, ancient Chinese engineers drafted the blueprint of survival. Scrolls of bamboo lay spread across wooden tables, ink-stained fingers traced new defenses. They designed towers, battlements, and kill zones. Their knowledge transformed raw earth into fortresses, strategic, unbreakable, deadly, from crude dirt. Embankments to massive brick walls, the wall evolved. In a time-lapse of history, we watch it grow layer upon layer, century after century. Each generation added its own touch, its own strength. What began as fragile mud became a colossus of stone, molded by genius and refined by fire, yet even the wall couldn't conquer nature. In the arid heart of the Gobi Desert, it vanished into golden sands. Winds howled across dunes where once soldiers marched. This forgotten stretch was no less important. Each grain of sand buried a tale of duty and decay. And when night fell, the stories changed. Local legends whisper of restless spirits haunting the wall, ghosts of laborers who died where they worked, their souls trapped between worlds. Travelers speak of glowing lights, disembodied cries, and the cold touch of something ancient brushing against their skin. Whether myth or memory, the wall remembers. Winter brought a new enemy. Snow blanketed the mountains, burying towers in white silence. Ice clung to armor, breath turned to steam, and yet the sentinels never left. The Empire's guardians stood. Still, back straight, eyes sharp, as if daring the cold to break them. In times of emergency, flames were language. On distant towers, soldiers lit signal fires. One blaze triggered another, and another spanning miles and moments. Like lightning made of fire, warnings raced across the wall, summoning armies, saving cities. Life, too, flourished at the base of these walls. Medieval marketplaces buzzed with voices. Traders bartered silks and spices. Soldiers joked with villagers. Laughter mingled with the sounds of hooves and bells. The wall wasn't just for war, it was a living spine of culture, economy, and community. And in the quiet moments, far from battle cries, a laborer rested against the stones. His hands were cracked, his face weary, but in his eyes shone pride. He had built more than a wall, he had built legacy. Still, the wall's peace was never permanent. At its gates, Mongol warriors clashed once more with Chinese defenders. Steel rang out, horses reared. Dust rose. The wall that protected had to prove itself again, and it did. It always did. The Great Wall of China is more than a relic of war. It is a monument to resilience, beauty, and the battle between nature and time. Yet even stone has its limits. Along a rugged stretch of the wall, a thunderous landslide shattered the silence. Earth cracked, towers buckled, and centuries-old bricks tumbled down the cliffs. It was a sobering reminder that even this titan, built by empires, is not immune to the wrath of nature, but the wall remembers. Etched deep into its surface are the voices of the past Chinese characters carved by ancient hands. These high-resolution engravings are like whispers frozen in stone, names, prayers, dates, dreams. Each inscription tells a fragment of a larger story, hidden between the cracks. Today, the Great Wall still pulses with life. Tourists from every corner of the globe now walk the restored Badaling section, cameras clicking, flags waving in the mountain breeze. Children laugh, couples pose, and the wall watches silently, standing tall beneath a sky that has seen millennia unfold. Behind them, the peaks stretch into the horizon, as if saluting the journey of both the people and the past. At golden hour, the wall becomes something else entirely. The sun sinks low, casting warm light that dances off every brick and watchtower. Reflected in a nearby river, the wall looks eternal, its curves a mirror to time itself. There is no sound but the breeze and the soft rush of water. It is peace captured in stone. And then the myth takes flight. In Chinese legend, a great dragon flies above the wall, circling its length with wings of fire and smoke, watching over the empire it protects. In the minds of many, that dragon still soars, unseen but felt. It is the spirit of the wall itself, mighty. Watchful, unyielding, long ago soldiers marched down dusty trails beside the wall, armor clinking with every step. They weren't just warriors. They were guardians of a dream. Their path led to distant fortresses, unknown battles, and uncertain futures. But their presence built an empire's spine one footstep at a time. The wall was not just a shield. It was a stage for history. At a colossal gate, trumpets blared, drums thundered, and a royal procession passed through. Cloaked in silk and flanked by guards, the emperor crossed through stone arches that had seen more than eyes ever could. It was theater, ceremony, and legacy all in one. But storms come to every monument. One night, a violent thunderstorm engulfed a remote tower. Lightning split the sky, striking the ancient stones in a blinding flash. For a moment the wall trembled, but it stood, scorched but unbroken as always. Centuries ago, an artist sat beneath a cedar tree with brush in hand, capturing the wall in flowing ink and soft watercolor. His strokes were delicate, but his vision was vast. He didn't just paint a structure, he painted a soul, and now, in one breathtaking frame, the past meets the present. Crumbled ruins lie beside pristine restored sections. One tells the story of what was lost, the other, what was saved. Together they prove the wall is not just history, it's a living, breathing reminder of what humankind can build when dreams are laid brick by brick, and its story is far from over.